So, golf games, huh? One of those things that nobody really seems to want, but always seems to exist on every platform. I get the golden tee stuff, because that's an immersive and social commitment. And I guess I get the branded golf games, because you're playing real players and courses that, if you follow the tour, I can see being a meaningful thing to you. But if your game doesn't have the money for those kind of licenses, you gotta lean into personality instead. But unless you're radically reinventing the sport of golf, or going straight quirky mini-golf, there's just not that much that can be done. As far as cartoonier choices, the PlayStation had Hot Shots Golf, the Nintendo 64 had Mario Golf, and the Sega Dreamcast got Tee Off. If you've played a golf game, you've pretty much played Tee Off. It's got normal, basic courses, it's got the typical structure of timing-based swings. Tap once to load up power, tap once to confirm, tap once to solidify accuracy. But Tee Off's meter is both ludicrously exacting and wildly inconsistent. If you miss the final click by even a fraction of a centimeter, the game punishes you severely. It's literally the difference between a 200-yard drive and a 30-yard drive. But also, there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason for how far any particular shot goes. I consistently got 110, 120% on my power meter, and sometimes it would go 200, but sometimes it would do like 120? There were times that my ball went farther getting 85% or 96% than it did getting 118. I'm guessing this is because of the absolute ruthlessness of that final accuracy click. But it's not only a complete crapshoot, but it makes it near impossible to navigate around roughs. As far as near impossibilities go, those roughs are as restrictive as any I've ever seen in a golf game. I know it's supposed to be harder than a normal fairway, but I consistently had situations where I'd get a full 118% power swing, and it would go 60 yards. I never once had anything resembling a workable shot coming out of the roughs. And those strokes add up remarkably quickly. I played this game for about an hour daily for 2 full weeks, and I think I got par on maybe 3 holes. Irritatingly, the putting metric is structured on the exact same swing mechanic. So even though it's a different club and a different game plan, you're using the same big drive, triple click motif. You just have to judge it as like quarter power of a normal swing. Maddeningly, it's got the same exacting inconsistency. I did a putt at 47% power and it went 12 yards. I did a putt at 30% power and it went 4 yards. Then I did one at 40% and it went 11 yards. These are not equal percentages, guys! The game attempts to add some Hot Shots-esque personality to the game by giving each of the 4 primary golfers a name and a voice. And for a while, I was entirely unclear if it was a narrator or an internal monologue. But there's only one dialogue response per character for each general situation. So every time you miss, this guy yells, "Ouch, that hurts," over and over and over. You are required to watch every other golfer's turn as well, so you get real used to the 5 lines each of them has within a couple matches. The soundtrack has that same kind of interstitial porno music guitar vibe that something like Sonic Adventure has. But there's only 3 or 4 general loops, so they start feeling maniacally annoying very quickly. I heard them so often that I started musing to myself that the primary theme sorta sounds like the Black Eyed Peas' "Where Is the Love?" And decided it was my headcanon that will.i.am stole this hook directly from Tee-Off. The game also has a weird, futuristic Japanese croquet game that was at least distinctive and unusual looking. This mode was actually pretty fun, and also I fucking dominated at it. But also I did so well that I cleared my stage quickly and had to watch both my teammate and both opponents do all of their shots, and they weren't very good, and it took forever. So even this wasn't an option I came back to very often, even with the charming aesthetic. Ultimately, Tee-Off just doesn't really achieve much in the way of the golf genre. It's miserably inconsistent and uselessly particular as a dry golf sim, and nowhere near quirky or charming enough to get by on personality. There's a reason you almost assuredly have never heard of or played this game. There's a reason it's been pretty justly forgotten. As the aggressive American character Catherine White says every time she finishes a hole with yet another triple bogey,
"Oh well, next."
Next time... Ah, hell.